just cracked it open too.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Give us a second. You got it.
You might want to put a cap on that.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to
get bumped. It's going.
Okay.
All right. Hey, shalom, shalom. Yeah, we are the brothers of the Great Millstone, the branch here in Chicago. And first and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kakodash.
Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all our fellow laborers who's out there doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000 ordained to be the ruling class government and people over all other nations, races, and governments under the authority of who the world fraudulently and falsely calls JC. His name is Yahweh Shai. Always was, always will be. All right, the tabernacle of David on earth as it is in heaven. All right, and to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. All right. And to the few wak, meaning the sisters that are listening and learning, to you, we say shalom. We just gonna jump right into this lesson. Could we open with you? Matter of fact, you Awalam, you spoke it. Habakkuk,
Yes,
about it not tearing, or whoever got it. You know,
Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it.
okay, and that he may run that readeth it, meaning and that you're gonna stand on your watch, and you're gonna take these as the things happens in the world, you're gonna filter the things that are happening through the scriptures and identify the prophecies and identify where we at. And that's what we here at Great Millstone are known for. And for the most part, we're pretty accurate. All right. The things that we've been talking about are the things that's happening, because the things that we've been talking about are not the things that everyone else is talking about. You know, see, especially this whole thing with the MOTB. All right. But I got a video here, okay, that I'm gonna play. And you know, we got some of the up and coming and younger brothers in the room, and we just gonna play this video, and then brothers are gonna bring out precepts that come to their mind. Okay, so we're gonna start with this one.
Yesterday, I showed you the tankers, dozens of US KC-135s and KC-46 sitting on Israeli runways. Last night, Donald Trump told Benjamin Netanyahu, hold your fire, wait for the signal. Those two things are the same story. Here's what I have now confirmed. Those US tanker fleets aren't leaving. They are staying at Ben Gurion and Ramon airports through at least the end of 2027. During the February-March Iran campaign, Israeli jets conducted approximately 8,500 sorties. Most targets were 1,500 to 2,000 kilometers away, unreachable without those tankers. Israel just took delivery of its own KC-46 Gideon, specifically to reduce dependence on US tankers for future deep strikes. They're not building a ceasefire infrastructure. They're building an independent strike infrastructure. So what did Trump actually mean last night? Benjamin Netanyahu had already approved the third strike. Aircrafts were prepared for takeoff. Trump told him to halt. We are heading toward an agreement. And the operation was cancelled with considerable confusion in the military high command. That's not a veto. That's a timing call. Now, here's the political reality underneath it. Donald Trump needs the stall. He needs to look like a peacemaker long enough to survive politically, manage the markets, and give allies cover. Netanyahu needs conflict or the credible presentation of objectives achieved, because anything less means ending up in court. His domestic legal exposure.
And that was the point of it. She said Trump needs to look like the peacemaker, all right, long enough to win in the polls, because this election, this midterm election is coming up. Netanyahu, Milikowski, he needs war to stay out of court, because if they stop wars in if they stop those wars over there in Western Asia, he has to answer to the court system of the Israeli courts, and he's wanted for different crimes against humanity by the Hague and different crimes over there that even violated. You know, when the Israelis think you evil, you really got to be, you know, because we talking about, you know, baby murderers.
Yeah.
And when they decide that you something wrong with you, you know, there's something really wrong with you. They're like, damn, we the devil, man, but you the devil, you know? So I'm gonna play another one, but anybody got a scripture they want to bring out on that?
Yeah, I
Let
got
the younger bros have it. Let them have it.
Go ahead, Adon.
The book of Joel, chapter 3 and
Yeah,
verse
that's
9. It says,
Mhm.
proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
Mm.
Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near.
His
Salaki.
domestic legal
Salaki. Go ahead.
Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Yeah, there's no thing of peace, man. Like the Lord got it on. All his desires have to be fulfilled, which is pretty much ultimately ending in America, World War III, nuclear destruction, a very great sound of death and destruction. It's gonna be a great, mighty day, man. You know, and that's the only thing that's coming. There's no way around it, man. Whether Trump, Sir Milkowski, all right, they all gonna accomplish the pleasure of Yahweh Bashim outside, which is ultimately war, man.
Khan. All right, you go ahead. Just put it on down.
This is Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, that righteous anger, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. And Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai is coming back to put Bill to ass, man. He's going to gather these nations together and get rid of them all kaput.
Yeah.
That's it, you know?
Yeah, he gonna let them get down on each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then Yahweh Shai, Michael, and the rest of the mighty host is gonna come. Yeah, it's gonna be bad for them.
I got a quick one to back you up, Elder. This book of Revelations 11-14. It says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. And ultimately, what? This is the true war to end all wars, man.
Mm-hmm.
World War III, man. Well, ultimately, what? All these different nations want to aim their missiles at America and destroy America, man. You know, because it talks about, it says, spare no arrows. You know, so ultimately, what? Hey, that's the Lord's determination, man. Ultimately, what's to ultimately gather up these said nations, to ultimately what? To riddle missiles upon this place and destroy it.
Khan, and that's exactly what's about to happen, man.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And actually, that third woe, it really didn't start. It just hasn't hit the apex yet.
Yeah,
But
you're absolutely
it's
right.
underway.
You know, it actually has been underway
Mhm.
for a very long time. Literally since 9/11. When you really think about it, it's, you know, what it really since the great fraud of 9/11. This whole world thing has really been building up, and now it's coming to its apex now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play another quick video just to back that video up. And this came from April O'Neil. This is called on June 9th, which is just a couple days ago. We just set the Middle East, Western Asia on fire. Okay, so it's just a couple minutes long. Actually, it's 4 minutes long, but we'll let them cook for a little bit.
Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Doherty, also known as Joshua Lloyd Fox. I want to give you an update on what's going on right now. As of just about an hour ago, CENTCOM has released some statements, but I've been getting information from other places, and I want to just give you a timeline of events of what's been going on. This is as of 7 o'clock Eastern time, so that was about 2.5 hours ago. Let me get to my notes here. Let's see. Iranian opposition sources are reporting preliminary details on the targets attacked by the U.S. forces in Iran a short while ago. For those of you that don't know, I posted earlier in the day that President Trump announced that we had an Apache helicopter go down over the Strait of Hormuz. And we were going to retaliate. We started retaliating at about 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, United States. And here's what we hit. Surik Naval Base in
Listen
Iran.
closely.
Jask
Okay.
Naval Base.
Let me pause that. Okay. Now, what happened was a Black Hawk, an attack helicopter, was shot down over the Straits of Hormuz in a place where it is really not authorized to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's Iranian sovereign territory. So America wants to retaliate. So basically, I kicked in your door, you shoot me down, but now my people saying they want to retaliate.
Right.
Wait a minute, you came in, you kicked in his door. You walked into his yard, holding something in your hand, running your mouth, and they took care of you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you know how you look at it, and now he's about to tell you what America hit. All right, you got to understand the severity of what has just the escalation of what's just happened, and with the UFC and the World Cup, all this is bread and circus to distract from what's coming and what's about to happen. So pay close attention.
Air defense systems in Bandar Abbas, coastal missile battery in Minab, coastal missile battery on Keshem Island, port facilities on Keshem Island, and the reported strikes are taking place in the vicinity of the Strait of Hormuz. During its attack, this was as of 7:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Daylight Savings Time. During its attack, the United States reportedly struck 2 freshwater storage tanks in Surik, Iran. If this is verified, then the U.S. has just given Iran the green light to do the exact same things to countries hosting U.S. military bases. As of 7:52 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, the attack upon drinking water storage tanks is now confirmed by IRIB, which reports all drinking water in the district of Surik is now cut off in Iran. We have cut off the drinking water to civilian infrastructure in the district of Surik in Iran. As a result of what the U.S. has just done, the IRGC in Iran has warned it will immediately place all regional Gulf energy infrastructure under continuous missile fire. And with this U.S. attack, water desalination infrastructure with the Gulf depends on for over 90%. Will specifically become major targets. We have talked in the last few months about infrastructure with the Gulf.
Take that back.
IRGC in Iran has warned it will immediately place all regional Gulf energy infrastructure under continuous missile fire. And with this U.S. attack, water desalination.
So everything, every base, any infrastructure in the entire Western Asia that supports or houses Americans, military or civilians now, Iran is going to attack. Stuff they've been holding back because they didn't want to attack water supplies of civilians and all that. But when it was done to them, now it's open season. Understand that.
Those
For sure, with the Gulf depends
I
on.
was gonna say that caused a drought and famine. Them desalinization plants, those are like thousands of dollars, like $100 million plants for them to take salt water to convert to fresh. You can't get fresh water, man. You're fucked in that region.
For over 90% of its drinking water will specifically become major targets. We have talked in the last few months about how the desalination plants are the most critical infrastructure for non-military or civilian people and infrastructure. All right, now let me give you the last bit here. I'm sorry, my note thing. As of 6:44 p.m. back here at home, at 7:44 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, U.S. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said he was in the White House Situation Room with President Trump and top officials before U.S. forces launched what was described as self-defense strikes against Iran. Johnson calls the operation proportional and limited, targeting radar, missile, and command and control sites. So I guess we accidentally hit those 2 freshwater storage tanks.
So I guess accidentally. That's all I wanted you to hear was that part. So every time that the U.S. does something that could be frowned upon by the world community, it's an accident. So when you kill 167, teenage girls, young girls, college girls, all right. Oh, it was an accident.
Right.
So so the fact that the first bomb opened up the place and then the second one went in and incinerated everybody, that was an accident. Yeah.
My airplane being in your space that you shot down, it was an accident being there, but you shot it down on purpose. So we're gonna have to retaliate because now you gave me grounds to fight you back. Because I came, you fucked up my helicopter. I know it was in your area, but it was by accident. It's just bullshit. He's the devil, man. He's the goddamn devil.
Bring it out, brother. Any precepts you got, brothers, let them out.
This is the book of Habakkuk 2:5. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So Esau Edom goes to these different countries, take the natural resources of these people. Ultimately, he puts the criminal hashtag upon these other nations, and ultimately he goes throughout these other nations, stealing, robbing, killing, murdering. That's the MO of the devil, man.
I gotta add, just to back it up, man. Ezekiel 38:7, because Iran, they ain't gonna be able to punch with the U.S. and Israel, primarily the U.S. man. Ezekiel 38.
Yeah, they could actually smash Israel, but they ain't.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna do that to America, though.
Yeah, exactly. All right, matter of fact, I'm gonna start up at 5, as it mentions Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, right? Which that's where they're at right now. Persia, that's one of the scriptures listing the contemporaries of Gog and Magog, which is Iran. Right? So we're waiting on Ethiopia and Libya. And it says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, right? Of the north quarters and all his bands and many people with thee, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So that angel is about to put that on their minds, man. The Russians on Putin, man. Y'all gonna have to make a move because they're getting blown to smithereens.
Yeah, and the heathen are getting to the point where they're gonna realize that the only way forward is to fight.
Exactly.
They basically they passed the point of no return. Yeah. When you have an airplane, it's like when it's flying out over the waters. That point of no return.
Right.
Is a mark where okay, we can't go back. We gotta keep going.
Otherwise, we
going down. Right. So you gotta make it to the next station so you can the next island, whatever you need to do to continue. And America is at the PNR. Point of no, they have crossed that PNR. There's no return.
That's right. And real quick, Joel 2:20, because this is what's going to happen when Russia and their forces make a move. It says, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea and his hinder part towards the utmost sea." So over there, Saudi Arabia, over in that region, that's where these U.S. forces, U.S. and NATO, I would imagine, right? Forces are going, right? And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up because he hath done great things. Yeah, so it's like you said, World War III, we're on the cusp of it.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Can I play this?
Go ahead. I had another one, but go right ahead, bro. Yeah, breaking news, Trump. Go ahead.
All right, hold on. Let me turn this up real quick because it's just more the hypocrisy of telling what they're saying out of their own mouth. I don't know if you had heard this one, but this is him bragging again about his what they do.
Just announcing today for the first time, but we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil, millions of barrels every night. Took out oil. But now I'm gonna tell you because they just figured it out. So now that they figured it out, I can tell you. It was very hard for me. I wanted to say it so badly, but I didn't want to ruin it. But it was very hard. But millions of barrels of oil has come out. And I'm just announcing today.
So he's basically saying, meanwhile, while they're doing all this stuff, they've been stealing Iran's oil along the way. Now Iran finally like, wait a minute, we're missing millions of barrels of oil. Yeah, so it's us. Now that we were trying not to say anything, but This is just that's how wicked he is. He's over there stealing your oil, bombing you.
So these fake deals and he basically pretends that he's going to have a what do they call it, a parlay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
And, see, that's the thing. When you parlay with Esau, he's got his minions somewhere else doing some dirt, right? Then it's happening before. Well, they're sitting down. They were sitting down in the meeting to parlay, right? And then then they get the call that they get attacked.
Right.
Right in the middle of the meeting, you sitting at the table with the dude. And all of a sudden, your guy come over and you looking across the table like motherfucker.
That's what happened. Israel was like, "Oh, Lebanon is not part of the deal." So,
right. Well, you didn't say.
You didn't say that.
But now that you brought that up, let me play this because these people are so sneaky, so conniving that what they're trying to do now, because we know that the world is demanding the Epstein things, and they're demanding it because they want justice for all the wrongs that have been done. And to these people, and the fact that your leaders, you got the nerves to hold court and put people in prison when you're guilty of worse crimes. All right, I mean, what the hell? You're guilty of worse crime than the people that you're locking up. All right, so what they're trying to do now, and of course, it's a small hat behind it, is they're trying to make pedophilia a condition and not a crime.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's a condition now. All right.
Oh, he's just sick.
Childhood trauma.
So it's always something to protect, these Edomites, in their violent, savage ways. But here it goes. That is not what I pushed. This thing, you saw what I pushed, right?
Yeah.
What type of person would write an article like this? Think about it. Oh, that's right. It's a part of their religion.
Sanderin 54b.
Let's take that back.
A Jew may have sex with a child.
I want you to
What
see
type
that.
of person would write an article like this? Think about it. Oh, that's right. It's a part of their religion.
Sanderin 54b. A Jew may have sex with a child as long as the child is less than 9 years old. Talspot Jebamoth 84b. If you eat with a goy is the same as eating with a dog. Baba Mezia 24a. If a Jew finds an object lost by a goy, it does not have to be returned. Gopherim 15. Even the best of Goyim should all be killed. Yebamoth 98a. All children of Goyim are animals. Baba Mezia 114b. Gentiles goys are not humans. They are beasts. Geshaz 2. A Jew may violate but not marry a non-Jew girl.
What type of person?
So they just authorize murder. They just authorize slavery. They just authorize rape. They just authorize pedophilia within their religion. And that's not biblical, but yet these people are claiming to be the biblical people of the Lord.
The heathens are dogs. All kinds of dogs. But you guys.
But they heathens.
You guys are.
Right. Go ahead, bring them up.
This is Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind it. And that's what they do. They every time there's a new president, what do? They swear on the Bible. On court, you got to swear on the Bible. But they don't follow anything of the Bible. It's what do you call it? The color, the color of law. The color of the Bible.
Right, exactly.
They make it look like if they're holy, but they're really not. Everything they push and they do is against the scriptures.
I'm back to Ultra Call. This is the book of Isaiah 26 and verse 10. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. And the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. As the scriptures say, man, he's clean contrary, man. And Esau Edom can't do right. Because you have a group of people over there in the land of Israel, proclaiming to be, the people. But ultimately, what? They're doing everything that's contrary to the ways of Yahweh Shah, man.
I got a little more. Psalms 50 and 18. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentedest with him, and has been partakers with adultery. And that's kind of what they're doing. Like the other was saying, they're trying to push certain laws to now justify their actions. So they're really with these wicked niggas, man. How much information has been out, especially now since you have sites like ChatGPT, how the cartel was literally trained by the tiny tots.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They learned how to get rid of bodies. Yeah, they damn, I forgot what I was saying.
They trained.
Oh yeah.
They trained. What was the show with Pablo Escobar?
Right.
They showed that Israeli forces was training his troops, and they're supplying them with weapons.
God, I wouldn't be shocked, you know, even though that hasn't come out. But I wouldn't be shocked if they were behind, you know, like the movie Snowfall showed you the CIA involvement in the cocaine distribution coming to America, and in the birth of crack, which was really targeted at Jake, Judah and Ephraim, mainly Judah, because when you watch that, if you've seen that show Snowfall, you saw the Judah and Ephraim, meaning the Northern Kingdom, Issachar, to be exact, literally going to war with each other. Going to war with Judah and going to war with each other, fighting over that crack territory, right? Because you had the Issacharite gangs fighting Judah and other Issacharite gangs murdering each other, and the same thing happening with, and all of it was, and it was a so-called white man who was bringing that in, all right? He was the one responsible for it, the CIA themselves, the people who are supposed to be some sort of law enforcement here in America. They were bringing it in, and then there was also a movie with what's his name, Jeremy Renner, I think that's his name, the dude who plays Hawkeye in the Marvel movies, all right? Well, he played the reporter in that movie, Don't Kill the Messenger. I think that was what it's called, and they did kill the messenger because he was a reporter that revealed that the CIA was behind the crack epidemic, all right? So this was a really and then. Then the war on drugs mysteriously started shortly thereafter. So it was all a plan to make, and then they built up all the private prisons, and that's what it was all about. Putting bodies, Jake bodies, the ones that didn't die on the streets, the ones that didn't, off themselves, the ones that lived through it. You got a never-ending supply of people to put inside those cells, including the victims of it who got hooked on that shit. Mm-hmm. Because everybody knew somebody when I was coming up that got ruined to that. You saw girls that used to be fine as hell, withered away. All right, bodies gone, teeth gone, used up. Become a crack house whore. That's a word. And then they had all kind of diseases, and they had crack babies because they're in a crack house getting high, getting plowed by everybody in the house. Because they ain't got no way to pay for the cracks. All right, but the addiction to make them do things, So you'd have been drilled by 100 different dudes, sometimes 4 or 5 at a time. Mm-hmm. All right, then you mess around, have a baby, and now that little old dog nigga running around shooting up, killing, destroying. You done created Frankenstein's now. Mm-hmm. Okay, and Esau was behind that. Yeah. Okay. He somebody get Isaiah 29:15. I'm gonna play another video if nobody got a scripture to back up what I just said.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 15. Woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us? And who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be extinct as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? So all this stuff is done in the dark. If you go to Luke 12 chapter, it tell you everything done in the dark gonna come to light, okay? If it don't come out in the wash, it will come out in the rinse. And this man is so deep to hide his counsel, his wickedness, all this diabolical shit he has planned. But he think the Lord don't see him. But you know,
like you just said, and then he turns around and takes a heinous crime that gets people, you know, locked up, even among thieves. Because you know, when you go to prison, these guys go to prison and they find out that you've been doing shit to children. You don't last long.
No, you don't.
All right, shoot, they found out you killed some cops and robbed some banks. Man, they gonna treat you like a superstar. All right, but you did some shit to some babies.
Man.
No, they ain't. So even among criminals, man,
Mm-hmm.
they don't play that shit, man. It seems that they got more morals than your government.
Exactly.
Who you got individuals within the government that I don't want to make it a condition.
Mm-hmm.
It's a condition, you know. So the whole government has this condition. All right, okay, but right, you know.
Because if you
you call him
all
the Pentagon.
your political,
Yeah, all those high top, you know, all these top military people, they had an epidemic of pedo porn on the computers at the Pentagon. This is supposed to be the computers of the leaders of the world.
Security.
You know? And you in here beating off to 3-year-olds and shit. You weirdo. All right?
Mm-hmm.
These are your leaders. And most of them are what? White males. Right? Christians. Jewish guys. Supposed to be Judeo-Christians. These are your leaders. All right? Go ahead, brother.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 13, verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? Then may he also do good that are accustomed to do evil, which is an impossible thing. All right, the border of wickedness. What you thought he was going to change his ways? Esau was going to see the light and turn over the new leaf?
Like
No.
like the snake don't do. You know, I ain't bite nobody.
All right.
I ain't gonna bite nothing.
He just don't like.
That's all he know.
Absolutely. This book of Ecclesiastes 1:15. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. So ultimately, Esau was ultimately created to do wickedness, man. You know, because it says in Romans 9, one for honor, one for dishonor, man. You know.
I got one, a quick one, pretty much just backing up what the elder said. You know, this man goes through great lengths. I think this is in Ephesians. And you won't act up. Ephesians is at 5:2. And it says, it says Ephesians 5:2. And walk. No, that's not it. Salakia. It's a shame.
Well, you you go find it, brother, and I'm gonna let you work on it. And I'm gonna play this short video just to back up what they said in the last video. And this is a very unattractive.
They lied to you.
Heavyweight.
They will say any. They lied to you. They will say anything to keep the African-only narrative alive. Anything. Because the story they tell sounds neat and it sounds truthful until you step back and take a look at the whole machine. Genocide, removal, land theft, paperwork, reclassification, slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, broken treaties, mass incarceration, and a justice system that profits from Black bodies.
Jeremiah 50:33.
Police in the street killing Black men and women while the system calls it law and order. It was never random. It was evolution, a brutal evolution of colonial control. They erased the indigenous identity of copper-colored people in this land. And then they turned around and told you you were from somewhere else.
I got a piece of copper.
And
on
then
my
they
arm
told you
that's
another
almost the
story,
same color as I am.
that the 5 tribes enslaved Black people just like the colonizer did. But wait a second. Because what they didn't tell you is many of those so-called Black people were not outsiders. They were indigenous also. They were family, they were spouses, they were children, they were warriors, they were community members. They were people who spoke the language, lived in the nation, fought beside your ancestors. They belonged. And in many cases, they were being protected from white slave catchers, colonizers, and plantation violence. But colonial paperwork did what it always does. It lied. It took kin and called them slaves. It took the indigenous people and called them freedmen.
That was the
It
part.
took people with blood.
That's what I wanted you to hear. they took basically Reuben, all right, and called them freedmen and Gadites. All right, some Gadites and Reubenites, they took them and they reclassified them as Negroes. And so, and they, you know, in 1683, no, in 1682, the year after Esau proclaimed himself white, he proclaimed natives and slaves Negroes. And then many of those native tribes, he also reclassified as Negroes. As she ended up speaking about the $5 Indians, and then the Dow's rolls. So you have these white people, these Edomites who signed that roll, and so they became native on paper. So Esau, through his paperwork, through his unrighteous decrees, he was able to, and through that contractual law, he still, you know, has us in bondage and slavery through contractual law. All right, and that's exactly what he did through his paperwork. Mighty is the pen. Okay.
I just found that, and it was lying back in off your Isaiah 29 and 15, what you was talking about, Ephesians 5 and 12. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. So this man does a lot of shit in secret, like just like the elder just said about how they signed off pretending to be Gads, you know, and actuality these are
they paid money, and what that did was that created, you know, basically what should have went to the natives, you know, the copper-colored people, did not. It went to Edomites instead. And now, you know, I just did a video, I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 videos back, where these people, all these chiefs and of these different nations, all these Edomites were being told that you're not native. And he's a chief of the tribe, you know, he's telling you you're not native, you know, and well, your DNA, basically, in the rage of these Edomites. Well, my family for the last 200 years, and you a Dawes Roll motherfucker. They were so pissed. The DNA was coming back and telling them that they was all Edomites. Now we know DNA could be, you know, could be played with and falsified, but in this case it wasn't.
Okay.
You know, it was no need to. All right.
You know, every Edomite got my great grandmother was named.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they can say that. Because a lot of Gadites did marry into Esau, so they could try to get over.
Well, a lot of them were forced into it too, though.
Yeah,
and they, you know, the Gad didn't really get down with Esau willingly, as a lot of people like to think or make it sound like.
Just like that falsified story of Pocahontas.
Exactly. All right, when you find out what really happened to Pocahontas, it actually make you angry. You know, it will.
Did you want that Jeremiah 15:33?
Yes.
This is the book of Jeremiah 15:33. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Right, so that prophecy was fulfilled here in America. Continue.
And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Right, and they hold us and they control us through paperwork now. All right, they you know, through paperwork, they rule over us. All right, you know, you gotta you have a birth certificate and you have a social security number. When you get a letter or a bill that's official, it always comes in all capitals. All right. For example, I'm battling a lawsuit right now. All right, and it looks again like I'm winning, so that means they get ready to cheat or do something. They get ready to move the goalposts. Because they actually called me. They've never done that, and they tried to, you know, cut a deal with me to keep this out of court. And I said, no, we go in court. Because they don't want this in court. And what you have to understand is that they've created they have a straw person. So basically, when you write your name, you write your first letter, capital, and then small lowercase. You write your last name or your middle name, you know, capital letters, lowercase, capital letters, lowercase. Well, you notice on your driver's license, it's all capital. Your birth certificate is all capital. Or your social security number is all capital. Because you're capital, because you're the capital. And that fictional all capital person is like a fictional cartoon of you. And that cartoon of you, that fictional cartoon that goes digitally, I'm just trying to explain this so everyone can understand it. Connects you to the real you, to the flesh and blood you. All right, that's how they connect it, and that's how they're able to keep you in debt and keep you trapped. Because, like, say for example, and I'm gonna share this with you. Let's say that you get clocked on a red light camera, all right, and you turn the corner and it was no one there. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And but in order to commit a crime in America is, according to the law, is when you have wronged someone, you have caused damage or property damage. If you have not done that, you really haven't committed a crime. Injured party. So then you have to have the injured party. So you ask, well, where's the injured party? They can't tell you. They'll tell you some code. Well, code so and so, so and so. Well, I have here, and somebody can get Isaiah 10:1. By the way, I have here a receipt for you about the color of law, about law itself, the law of the land. And see, this is what Esau is doing. He's violating his own law. All right, because any code or statute, just like with the COVID thing, we can finally talk about it. As a matter of fact, I'm not saying it, but certain individuals are now being charged with the crime of creating a bioweapon. They're saying that the shot was a bioweapon. That's the charges that's coming against them. All right, that's what they're saying. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not saying that they're guilty. I'm not saying that they're not guilty. All right, but it's a matter of time before that came out. So Bill Gates and Fauci and a couple of other people, they're actually being attacked via lawsuit, saying that this was indeed a bioweapon. So we'll see what happens with that. But this is from the Black's Law Dictionary, and it says, the first edition, the general misconception is that any statute passed by legislators bearing the appearance of law, so like Title 40 child support has the appearance of law, all right, constitutes the law of the land. Okay, the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for a law which violates, and this is underlined in red, it is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. This is essentially stated as follows. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Case law, Mulberry versus Madison. This is case law. So anytime you have case law, you have a solid thing. And so with my personal thing, I have case law proving that my complaint, that I'm right. It's case law backing me up. This is also one of them. All right, because what they're doing violates my civil rights. Okay, you can't do that. You have to give somebody due process. They deny you due process. Getting back to the whole capital thing, you get clocked for that. What you have to do is respond to it and ask for. And I got the paperwork. Anybody that happened to, you can just copy my paperwork, copy and paste. But you ask for a special appearance. All right, because if you ask for a special appearance, now you're appearing as you, capital letter, lowercase u, capital letter, lowercase u, not the all capital person. So they can't pin that on you. So more likely than not, they'll probably just throw the case out. That's what happened because they don't want that to happen. All right, so just remind me, and I'll bring that, and let brothers make some mass copies of that. So you get a ticket, you get a bill, they charge you with something, you ask for a special appearance. A lot of people don't know that. So understanding the law is almost as important as understanding the Bible. And the Bible is actually the law of the land. That's the true law of the land. Right. And to be honest, the Constitution was actually based on biblical principles. Mm-hmm. All right, but they violate their own law in order to be profitable. A small class of people. And what's happening is that Americans are waking up to that, and it's making them very angry, especially when they're allowing the little hats to have so much power, so much sway All right, and they're the ones that's controlling most legislation. Or most legislation is written to benefit the little hats and not Americans at all. Americans suffer as a result of it. Bring out whatever scriptures you have.
This is what he called for the Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right of the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
Yeah, so they get wealthy off of causing disparity, because that goes to show you that they really aren't a civilized race or civilized people at all, because they live with a system. Their system is set up with someone that has to be dirt poor and someone has to be an enemy in order for everybody else to be rich and wealthy. All right, there has to be a ghetto or undesired area in order for their society to work, instead of having a society where everyone can just, because think about it, if everyone was prospering, there'd be very little crime. Wouldn't be much crime. I mean, you're going to always have some sort of crime, especially when it comes to a man touching another woman or something like that. But as far as, the crazy shit that happens, nobody's going to want to go around jacking people when they got their own shit. Do you understand? If everybody had a nice car and everybody had a garage, well, a car in their garage and a car on the street, everybody got a gold bracelet and a gold chain. They don't want you. I got mine.
That's why the scripture says, when the righteous, when the wicked bear rule.
Bring it out, brother.
This is the book of Proverbs 29 and verse 2. And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And ultimately, what? Who will have rulership? Right? Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. So ultimately push these on the righteous decrees. Ultimately you tax from your wages. You don't even get your full paycheck. They take $300 out your paycheck. You subject to these different things now. But it says, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. That's what we're at right now, man. This earth is not ruling a righteous standard.
Not at all, brother. Yeah, you can back them up. Bring it out, brother.
This is Isaiah 1 and 23. Thy princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. Everyone loveth gifts and followeth after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither doeth the cause of the widow come unto them. And that's our corrupt leadership in Babylon, aka America. They're pretty much being led as puppets by the global banking elites emulate every level of government here. It's always a Jew, over American politicians, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Now that you said that, is it this one? Because you had the current UFC champion, all right, the only white one who's really a nigger, but the only white Christian American champion wasn't invited to the UFC, to an organization where he's the champion of, because he spoke against the little hats. It's like, wait a minute. I'm the American UFC champion. I can't go to the White House to fight. I mean, to watch the fights with all my fellow fighters in the organization I'm the champion of, because I spoke against a nation that's a foreign nation, not even our own nation. So that was a really bad look. So what they tried to do, that actually that look was a bad look. So now they're trying to double back and let them come. All right. So another thing that happened was that some lawyers got together and said, you can't have no UFC at the White House. It has to be free. The White House is for the people. You can't take the White House and turn it into a private thing where you done built this huge, gigantic dome so they can sit outside and be out of the elements, this ginormous dome, so birds won't shit on everybody or whatever.
Right.
And then charge all this money where the citizens can't go see it. You see, because you got to understand, the White House is supposed to be the people's.
Right.
And so these lawyers went after him. So now what they're trying to do is so what they did to counter that, they're trying to make UFC tournament now a part of the government. You see the corruption of this. So now they can use. So now we can return to some ancient Roman shit, where you know we're gonna work out our political differences. Well, my fight is gonna fight your fight. You see this?
Yes,
well, and this is crazy, bro.
That's
These
where this
Edomites
is
is
going,
something
yeah.
else. So let me let this. You talking about violation of the land? So here's what this Edomite, you know, with his shirt off, trying to show off his swole, working on his shovel. He's, you know, gun ho G.I. Joe here for America. But here we go. Come on, man. Let's play the video.
So, UFC champ Sean Strickland has been banned from the UFC 250-year USA White House celebration that Donald Trump is putting on in the White House front lawn. He's been banned from showing up at this event because he's been speaking out against the little hats that are ruining the world.
They're listening to us.
You know, the Romans said a long time ago, give them bread and circus and they'll be distracted. And there's no more perfect symbolism than this event. Donald Trump is a circus. They're literally putting on a circus in the front lawn. And all because of this man that I'm talking about, criticized another nation. He's not able to attend that which he is champion of. And take a listen to what he has to say.
The UFC higher-ups called me, big names. They said, Sean, I got to apologize, but you're not Israeli enough to go to UFC 250 Israel edition. The White House didn't clear you. And I'm not really surprised, I'm not really surprised. So, I think moving forward, I would like to just apologize to Israel. I'd like to say I'm sorry, I'd like to apologize to Trump, and I just want to prove that I'm Israeli enough for you guys. Or when Trump goes and bombs the fuck out of Iran that no Americans agree with, it costs Americans $5,000 to $15,000 to go fight Israel's war. I want to apologize. Sorry, I've been a critic of that. My allegiance was apparently in the wrong place, and I just want to apologize. Or when Trump goes out there and says, hey, Trump, your approval ratings are the lowest it's ever been across all demographics. And Trump says, well, you know what? I have a 99% approval rate in Israel. I want to apologize, and I want to repent. Apparently, I'm not American enough to go to Freedom 250.
Everyone should absolutely not watch the UFC 250. We need to send a clear message to Dana White. He should say, well, we're not going to do it on the White House lawn if we can't have freedom of speech. Protest the UFC fight. Don't watch it. I know I won't be supporting it.
So that spirit of rebellion is heavy in America among Babylonians. Okay, he was clearly upset about that. Now here's another one to back him up. That's a lot shorter.
Is of a boy named Timothy Hudson.
No, we're gonna say that one for last. That was a good one. It's a short one. But you can see that somebody get that. What did I call for? Did I didn't call for the Egyptian versus the Egyptian.
I'm glad that.
Somebody go ahead and get that second. That's what you got.
Real quick, this is Wisdom of Solomon 3, and
So hold that one. Okay. But somebody get that
Isaiah 19.
Get that, and somebody get that 2 Ezra 15, because this that spirit of rebellion is heavy in America among Babylonians, especially those who served or come from those families where they got they daddy, they uncle, they cousin, they their great uncle. You know, their whole every generation there was somebody that served, fought, and died, or whatever. They got 3 or 4 flags of their forefathers. You know, going all the way back to the Civil War, one in World War I, one in World War II. And now you're trying to tell me my uncle fought in Vietnam, my daddy fought in Vietnam, my uncle was in Korea. You know, and they mad.
You know, ever seen Forrest Gump, Major Colonel Dan or whoever he was,
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant
Oh,
Dan.
right.
Right, he had
a relative that died in every war. Right.
He was supposed to die in that one, but Gump saved him. And he got
Right.
mad.
You ruined my death. Yeah, right. Then what was that? The Invincibles, the whatever, that family. You ruined. He said, "I stopped your suicide. You ruined my death." Well, go ahead, brother.
Real quick, Wisdom of Solomon 9:6. It says, "For though a man be never so perfect amongst the children of men, yet if your wisdom be not with him, he shall be nothing regarded." And all of this is just proving that if you don't understand the scripture, you don't understand who the wicked is, who the sons of God is, whose land that really is, and what's really going on. It just goes to show you really don't know anything. Like I was checking out the podcast with Jake Shields you mentioned, and Dan Bilzerian, and they was hidden. They was talking about the small hats, a lot of information we brought out, but then they said something crazy. They was like, they called us black supremacists. So I said, well, they understand that, but then they got that part wrong.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
exactly. How? Because what's the supremacy part? We haven't. You know, first of all, who the fuck is black?
Exactly.
Right? And it's like I said, you know, your arguments with Esau Edom, you have to argue your way back to reality first. He starts the arguments in make believe. All right, this whole black and white thing. You created a narrative, straw man. It's just like the capital letter U and then the real U. All right, he created a fiction, and you have to argue your way out of the fiction back to reality to even begin to try to get some ground. There's no getting through to them. You arguing from a black and white thing. There's no such thing as black and white. That's a made up social construct to control a narrative, man. Okay, so it's pitiful trying to deal with these people and their mindsets. All right, and then they just void the truth, and then you know, so-called black people, so-called Hispanic people are in a position to, they may be in a position to be prejudiced against you. And then in all honesty, if you're honest even with yourself, can you blame them? All right. But they're in no way, shape, or form in a position to be called supremacists. They don't have any power, you know, to where they can force what's going to be on the lunch menu at your schools. Where they can force to have prayer in school, where they can, you know, make it sign off to make it's okay for cross-dressing men with fake titties to go and sit in the circle with all your small impressionable 4 and 5 and 6 year olds and read them stories. Okay, they don't have power to do that. Power to say you can live in this neighborhood, you can't live in this neighborhood. You can get along and you can't get along. They don't have power to do it. Where's this black superiority, supremacist shit at? Okay? You created something called black, and there's really no such thing. And then you make it an attack point, a point of argument. This is crazy, man.
And these are the people that break their own code of conduct and then unlawfully move forward with their rules of engagement.
That's the amendments that they do.
So just like in Braveheart, where you sent the princess for peace talks, and then come to find out you sent reinforcements to flank them. You know, it was like you already had them getting into position as you moved up forward with peace talks.
Just so you can attack them. And what has changed? What has changed? Nothing.
You know, talking to Esau is like they did a documentary or like a film on the OJ case.
Yeah.
And when you see Bob versus the people, OJ versus the people case, and every time they come with hardcore evidence, they'll just come up with some more narrative that'll distract the people. Then they'll be like, "How are y'all not seeing this evidence?"
Exactly. That's exactly. Just like the guy wants to now that small head woman wrote that article that, you know, that pedo should be a condition and not a. And then they showed you how in the Talmud, not in the Bible, but in the Talmud, you know, it's okay to have physical, you know, relations with the underage person. In the Bible, it is not.
This is 1 Timothy 1, and I'll start at 8. But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for the sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers and fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine. So this man constantly makes up his own rules to go with. He jumps on impulse and then has to come with something that backs up his stupidity.
While holding the flag,
come on,
everything you're doing is violating what your flag stands for. I saw this red ass Edomite. You know how Esau, he's a big Edomite too. You know, straining veins popping out his neck, turning red. He was mad as fuck, and I'm laughing at him. Because he's like, if America was looking at what America is doing, America would invade America to stop America from doing what it's doing. And I was just laughing my ass off, man. Because Esau is losing it. Because it's true. If what the American government is doing, they would refer to those people as terrorists. You know, we need to go bring them.
Get you the Oscar for that one, that was
He said, you right. He's like, you know, you would call those people terrorists.
That's it.
And you would send your Marines and your armies and your Air Force to go deal with them. All right? And now they want to merge with and are merging with the Little Hats. So I'm going to play 2 more videos. We're going to get to wrap it up. His brother's at the pit. It's daytime. We're here. Kept it. Hers, yeah. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Anti-Semitic. You're a self-hating Jew. I just watched IDF soldiers throw a child that they had tortured off the roof of the building while he was still alive. This is the military that we just merged our military with. You're anti-Semitic. You're a self-hating Jew. I just watched IDF soldiers throw a child that they had tortured off the roof of the
She's
building
Jewish, so
while
this is no
he
way
was still alive.
anti-anything.
This is the military that we just merged our military with.
One more time.
You're anti-Semitic. You're a self-hating Jew. I just watched IDF soldiers throw a child that they had tortured off the roof of the building while he was still alive. This is the military that we just merged our military with.
These are the people
You're anti.
that now want to make. They now want to make pedophilia a condition. Why? Because it's a common practice among them. And now America is merging with them. And they're all in our government, and everybody knows it. They even have their own lobbyists. No other country on the planet has lobbyists to lobby for them. Why do you have Jewish lobbyists in for American government? You know, you really have to ask yourself that. And then why is it that you have allowed them to take control of your Congress? Why is it that you've allowed people with dual citizenship to be CEOs, police chiefs, FBI chiefs, or whatever, CIA, whatever? Because who are you really loyal to? Because Americans are beginning to see that. All right? I mean, we've been calling it forever, but they finally starting to see it, which is good. Because we're not going to do shit about it. We're waiting on the Lord. But he's going to put the spirit on these other Egyptians, you know, to do some things. And meanwhile, I'll play this last one and we're going to wrap it up with some scriptures. Meanwhile, our people are still being unrighteously and unfairly mistreated here by the law. Okay?
Is of a boy named Timothy Hudson, and one is of a boy named Khalif Browder. One of them spent time at Rikers. I'm going to assume that you probably already know who that is. Let me tell you why. The one child, the one with the darker skin tone, was falsely accused of stealing a backpack, was sent to Rikers, spent 3 years there before he was released. While he was there, he suffered torment, solitary confinement, and then when released, took his own life because of most likely what he suffered while he was in there. The other one is safely at home right now after being charged with unaliving and essaying his stepsister on a Carnival cruise. And the judge said he should get to go home and be with his family while they await trial. The system is set up to hurt Black and brown people. The system is set up to protect white men and white men only. So please stop pretending there aren't two systems, because there are. If this boy is allowed to be at home, that one should have never, ever.
So, and what she said was absolutely true, because it's not even set up to protect so-called white women. And the evidence of that is the amount of women that got raped by the Epstein class. And the fact that this little Opie, this, what's that actor's name? Opie, the Ron Howard looking motherfucker. This kid did look like a young Ron Howard. He raped and raped and murdered his own stepsister on a cruise ship. And they let this little fucker go home. All right? And that just seems to be keep happening when it comes to them. All right? This dude, Carmelo Anthony, defended himself from a big bully. What they didn't tell you, I'll share with you what they did.
Carmelo Anthony, in 1931.
Oh, boy, and that was it. It popped up automatically without me even going to it. That's a spirit. All right? I didn't even pick it, and it popped up. But Carmelo Anthony, they didn't tell you that this dude had a history of being violent against other children, attacking and being a bully, carrying knives and guns and going out and hunting and shooting and killing shit, and had that same mentality, and he was, you got to remember, the kid that killed him was small like this brother here. All right. I mean, and he was a big dude. He was, over 200 pounds, 6 foot tall, over 200 pounds. He's a much bigger kid, young white man. And this little guy, had a history of being bullied by him. And basically, when he came for him this time, he was ready for him. He told him, "Don't fuck with me, don't touch me." And when he did, now I don't think the kid meant to kill him, but he died. So here we go. Oh shit! I can't. Oh, maybe we'll play. Okay, it's a lot.
So many are wondering with the Carmelo Anthony trial, why didn't the state call Austin Metcalf and Hunter? They call the father. The answer may surprise you. Prior to the trial, you may have heard that there were rumors that the twin boys were bullied. By not calling Hunter Metcalf to the stand, then you're unable to solicit evidence about how much of a bully these two boys really were. See, the boys were even suspended from school the week that Austin attacked Carmelo Anthony. Their own coach testified that he was surprised to see the boys at the game. He was literally surprised because they had been suspended from school that week. So when you're suspended from school, you're not supposed to be able to play in a sports game because the school doesn't want to reward bad behavior. By calling the dad to the stand or calling the surviving brother on cross-examination, they could be asked questions about the brother's history of fighting at school, carrying knives.
Okay, so let's stop it right there. They want suspension. The story was that he was sitting in there in his seat. He came over, so that means he went over there to pick on him again. All right, he wasn't even supposed to be at school. He was suspended.
Right.
And they didn't allow his brother to testify. They didn't allow his father to testify. And then there's a picture, because I kept it in my evidence file. His father is personal friends with the judge. and one of the attorneys. There's a picture with him and his family.
I think that's DA.
Yeah, the DA, right? You see? So when that lady said that this system is set up to destroy us and to protect white males, it's 100% true. Because anytime that they get caught doing anything wrong, within 24 to 48 hours, there's a distraction story of somebody brown, or teenage takeover, something to take the focus off this. As a matter of fact, when that teenage story takeover hit, that kid who that Edomite that murdered the other Edomite baby boy got let out of prison. Wow. All right, and and no bail, no nothing. All right, what y'all got? Bring them out.
I got one real quick. This book of Wisdom, Solomon 2:10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. And ultimately, Esau Edom has the quote unquote the criminal justice system on their side, man. They use to incriminate Jake. It was a story. It was that back in, I believe, like the early 1900s. You had a Jake called, George Stanley Jr. The youngest Jake to ever be executed on American soil.
Yeah, he was 14.
Yeah, 14.
He looked like he was like 10. He was so little.
Yeah, and they ultimately used the Bible to ultimately to platter him up to ultimately to be electrocuted in the electric chair, man. And this is the people that we're under right now, man.
Yeah, that was a very cool thing because they never would have did that to a white male. All right, a so-called white male. Go ahead, brother.
This is Habakkuk 1:4. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceeded.
And it's going to continue. Go ahead, brother.
Slacky, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's going to continue to proceed wrong judgment until Yahushua comes. And that is soon. And we can't wait, man. Because we matter of fact, not only us, it seems the world is over you Edomites. All right?
The scripture says the trees are saying
your women, your women are over you. Everybody's over your red ass.
The earth this morning. The earth this morning, the trees this morning, everybody.
That's the real fatigue, Edomite fatigue.
So the whole earth is waxed old.
Is it?
This is Isaiah 59:15. It says, "Yeah, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And Yahweh saw it, and it displeased them that there was no judgment, meaning no justice."
Yeah, and that's also why they hate us so. Because, we departed from evil. We're not all in the bars and in the clubs, rolling up on somebody else's girl, doing drugs, committing adultery. We're not doing all that bullshit in the world. Here we are standing on principles, organized, reading the Bible, teaching young men how to do the same. That's not what they want. Right?
It reminds me of the scripture, he that teaches his son agree with the enemy.
Yeah.
But don't teach them, don't tell them.
Mm-hmm. It's like, wait a minute. Is this a Saturday? It's 2:00. There's bitches and hoes about. Why are you guys just standing here? Don't you guys want some bitches and hoes?
We'll get to that later.
Exactly. We doing the Lord's work right now. That's it. Right? And truth matter, we don't really want bitches and hoes. We want women. All right? That's it.
That's why the scripture says, just to back up the scripture says, teach up a child as the way it should go. Train up a child as the way it should go. But Esau Edom on the left hand side is training up, raising up our children to be sluts, to be whores, to be sodomites, to be different things.
To be YNs. And then he doesn't like YBs. And what he doesn't do is acknowledge that his system was a science project that created that. You pushed that. You created that by removing the father from the home. And removing all the opportunities, taking away the jobs, taking away the programs, taking away different things out of school, dumbing them down, giving them a third and fourth class education, right? Giving them these very low requirements and then sending all these Edomite-ish teachers into the hood that purposely didn't teach you a damn thing. They just came there to take attendance and collect the check.
I have. Yeah.
All right, that's it, man. All right, any finishing? Bring it out, brother.
Then Psalms 40 and verse 1, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. I waited patiently for Yahweh, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, and out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my goings. And this whole system is just a web of lies to really trap and ensnare Jake. You know, he got it set up for everybody, but when it comes down to our people, we really get screwed over in it. You know,
Con, in the worst way. All right. Hey, so with that, man, we're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakadash.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Abba. Turn those machines off. Go to the cellars and buy.